Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Turf Today, brought to you by Toro. My name is Adam Kershane, one of the co-hosts of the show today, joined by Brian Laurent, and we got a special one for you. We got a new guest. We got an old guest. Yeah, well, I guess you can call him that. Long time ago guest. And we got lots of fun in between. We've recorded this podcast on the Superintendent Network, and check out the SN YouTube page for all these video podcasts. Joining us today is the superintendent at Black Diamond Ranch, the one and only Jeremiah Mincey. And Jeremiah joins us from TPC Sawgrass, where he is volunteering for the Players' Championship. But before we get to Jeremiah, we have to bring back somebody who has been off the show for a while. And it was for good reason that they left. We wish they didn't, but it was what it was. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Trevor Larson.
Recording in progress.
Yeah, you miss that?
I mean, I miss you.
Yeah.
And you know what I miss the absolute most, more than anything at all?
What's that?
Is Ort Wino and his fandom of the worst football team in the NFL. Suck on that. You Cowboy fan and all of you Cowboy fans can suck on that giant, firm, long, hard Lombardi trophy in Philadelphia.
That's so funny. Straight to the Eagles immediately. I love it. I mean, there's been a while since there's been some Eagles talk, so it's nice. Yeah.
It's been disappointing for you guys, but
You've probably just been on cloud nine ever since that happened.
dude, it's been cloud nine for a while now. Not only with the Eagles winning a Super Bowl, which I personally had nothing to do with, but feel like I had everything to do with.
Yeah, well, you're part of the team, right?
Dude, always. No one changes a jersey at halftime like I do, okay? When you're falling down, you got to change that jersey up, son.
You do, yeah. You got to change
Superstition's
something.
real. Luckily, they were so good. I didn't really do too many this year, but I stuck to my Jason Kelsey midnight green jersey all year, and it worked. It was just like 2017. It was my black Connor Barwin. It worked.
Yeah, they probably talk about it in the locker room. They're like, that guy in California, he's sticking 100%. With the same jersey. Like, we got to win.
We have to win. Yeah, we got to put it together for some random schmuck in California.
So how's it going, buddy? It's been a while.
Dude, it's been, yeah. I mean, I saw you, at the GCSA. I mean, not at the show, but
yeah, we were chilling.
Before it.
Yeah,
I mean, I know you guys think.
A few times since you've been on the show, I think.
You mean been off the show?
Been off the show.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys thanked everyone who came out to your guys' little mixer, but I wanted to thank them too, that no one even knew who I was there, but that was still fine. Really cool that a lot of folks showed up for that.
Turf Today is brought to you by Toro. Innovation is a word that companies use a lot, but what does it really mean? For Toro, it's about more than chasing the latest fad. It's about understanding what's important to you and helping you solve challenges you face in your day-to-day. So whether you want battery power that lasts longer or technology that works smarter, you can count on Toro to keep you ahead of the game. Visit Toro.com and see how Toro is always solving and always evolving.
Yeah.
So give everybody a little update on, obviously when you had to leave the show, you had a million things going on, and it was good timing because we were talking to Brian about potentially doing something. So give everybody a bit of an update on what you were doing then and what you got going on now.
I mean, it's been a little over a year now since I departed from the show on very good terms, as some people didn't believe, which was crazy.
Well, that happens, right? Like when a band breaks up or a podcast breaks up, people are like, "Oh, there's got to be some beef or some shit."
Yeah, and I'm like, no, I'm like, the dude's coming to my house, and like,
yeah, I feel like you hung on actually a little longer than you probably wanted to, just being a nice guy for me,
I never wanted to leave the show, but like it was as much as like it's not a huge time commitment because I was just a person talking on a microphone. Like it still is like our time zone differences were it was getting super inconvenient. It was screwing up timing of coming home and dealing with stuff and blah blah. And then I started Larson Golf, and it's been a little over a year now, and that has been insane.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy how far you've come.
Yeah, I hit, and it's not a huge number, but for someone who doesn't pay for ads or anything like that, I hit over 2,000 followers in under a year, completely organically. I partnered with Powerbuilt and got like was put on at the PGA show with them, so I got to go to the PGA show and show my stuff there. What the hell else? I mean, numerous tournaments, and I've sold countless clubs. I just did a huge sale of a minimum of 80 clubs, potentially 120 for a club down here, their anniversary tournament. It's going to be one of the tee gifts. So
Sick.
I just sold all my stuff essentially.
That's an
Uh,
amazing gift to get. You go to attorney and you get a persimmon, like a custom made
a
persimmon.
custom refinished
Ugh,
persimmon with their anniversary date on it, like stamped in it. Like it's gonna be crazy.
nice.
It could max out at 120. I have less than 120 days to do it. So
Okay. So
I
you gotta get
just
to
got
work.
back. I just landed an hour ago from the Bay Area and caught the show. But yeah, I have a lot of work in front of me. And
Yeah.
then for the turf community, you can hear the cheeriest in my voice here.
You can hear the cheeriness in your voice.
I will no longer be at my last course. I landed in my dream job, my dream position that I never thought
Yeah.
I'd get without a college degree. So sometimes it shows that a lot of hard work and a little bit of luck can go a long, long way.
Yeah, man. When you told me
So
about it, I was so happy for him. Like that, dude, that's exactly what you're kind of meant to do and what you've always wanted to do. So pumped
yeah,
for you. Manager of Dickens Golf Clubs.
nope. Only if they're insider.
Oh, it's a cider company. Sorry. Yes.
Yes, yes.
Gotcha.
No, I'm the director of operations and marketing for Powerbuilt Golf.
Yeah.
So pretty
Yeah.
sweet.
That's gonna be awesome.
Um,
They're making a
yeah,
comeback, right? Like some of the
we
clubs they've
are making
released,
a comeback.
you guys are making a comeback. It's true.
Yes. Yes. It's a 110-year-old company. And it's funny, a lot of people are like, what, who? And then you show them like, oh, I've seen that. And
Yeah.
oh, it's like, yes, I know you have. It's like, it's been around for too damn long for golfers not to have seen. And then, yeah, just this last year, we came out with the Atlas line. There's the MBs and the PDs. There's blades and more player progression ones. And they took like Golf WRX. It was top 10 cool new things at the PGA show. And then we've got something with Golf WR. Did I say Golf WRX, right? WRX and My Golf Spy came by the booth and were just floored by our bronze irons that we came out with this year. We're doing stuff with Todd Dempsey and Persimmons, which is how I kind of got linked up with them. And yeah, they want to grow the company and they wanted me and they got me. So
Killing it. That's gonna be so much
yeah,
fun.
it's gonna be sick. I'm excited to have a normal lifestyle again because everyone who's listening knows the turf life. You
Everybody
know,
knows it.
they've already found a replacement who I was really hoping who it was gonna be. So it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good
That's
all
good.
around. They were stoked for me. They weren't pissed I was leaving or whatever. They were happy for me. So it's a super amicable, good split, which is great. It's what I would want. The best part is for me it was always mowing something or doing a project and just seeing the results right off the mower.
Oh yeah.
You literally can turn around and see something you just did that dramatically made it better. And that's what I'll miss the most.
And you're
All
still in
you
golf, right? Like you
Oh
still get to
yeah,
play
dude, I
golf
can't.
and
I'm playing a tournament tomorrow.
there you go. Right back out
Like,
on the course.
yeah, it's yeah, definitely never leaving golf. Golf is everything, really. I mean, I'd show you, but I've completed the putting green chipping course in my backyard. It is done.
Yeah, the pictures you sent me are really cool.
Yeah.
Like the
So
fact that
there's
you can see like you're chipping or putting and you can kind of see all the way across the valley and the mountains and everything. Like
yeah,
pretty cool.
yeah. And then my wife is the one who initiated it. She called me and she's like, "Oh yeah, I got the turf people coming this week." And I said, "What?" She's like, "Yeah, we're just gonna do the backyard."
Oh,
Yep, no argument here.
okay. Perfect.
Yeah, well, let's do it. And we did. And little Palmer, it's Palmer's birthday today.
No way.
Yeah, Palmer's officially one.
Wow.
If you guys haven't followed it yet, that'd be great if you could. It's Larson Golf Co. It's Larson with an E, as you guys, maybe not new listeners who've never heard me talk here before, but everyone else, the OGs know. And then go follow Power Built too.
Yeah,
That'd be rad.
get on that one. Check out all the stuff that
Because
they're gonna do there. Because you're gonna be the one, right? You're gonna be
I
the one
am the
putting it
one.
all out.
Yes, yes, I'm gonna be the one running all those. Um, at some point, we'll be able to give one lucky listener some wedges. But I
Ooh,
did not get the clearance on this one. You know, I'm a little fresh, so
a little fresh, yeah.
um,
Hang on.
but I'll be back.
We'll be
And
back with something.
yeah, we're gonna work on some stuff, and I know that the Turf Today Cup will come back at some point, and Powerboat will be a part of that for sure.
Four Nations.
Yeah, oh, that was sick. We lost, and it was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God,
Nice.
dude, that was so good. How could
Yeah.
you be mad at that,
No, yeah, McDavid in overtime, like I don't know.
dude?
That's you wrote it up.
Mickey D's fucking
Up. You
unreal,
believe that they changed the name of McDonald's to
dude.
McDavid's
So
in
good.
Canada?
Why not?
I
It's
know.
phenomenal, dude.
Yeah. Change McDonald's name after you. Like, fuck. Okay.
This has been fun. I've missed some of you, not all of you. Specifically Jordan son, that guy.
That guy.
Um, Voice Sock Dave, I do miss you. Orty, of course, for mainly personal reasons.
Yeah, buddy. It was nice having you on.
I'm gonna eat some white cheddar cheese puffs and cuddle with my dog.
Sounds like a lovely Saturday evening.
I got a tournament to play tomorrow, dude. I gotta get zoned in. I gotta
Yeah.
get locked in and ready because I'm playing with my wife's boss, and I'm the quote unquote ringer. So
Oh my
kind of
goodness.
kind of gotta play good tomorrow.
So lay on the couch and eat cheesy poofs. I love it.
Yeah, dude, I'm bringing out my inner John Daly. You're like, you don't have a bottle of Jack
It's
Daniels or a
true,
fucking
yeah.
cigarette.
Get a dart going.
Yeah, dude, I'm just gonna roll up with a 12 pack of Diet Coke.
Love it. All right, buddy. This has been awesome. Appreciate you coming on. We'll chat again soon.
Yeah, buddy. Say
All
it.
right.
Say it.
Give me a real shot.
Oh God, that gets me bricked up, baby. Yes.
All right, buddy. Take care. Miss you.
Later.
And now it's time for another installment of Ask the Agronomist, presented by the Andersons. From tee to green, goal to goal, and shoots to roots, nothing is off limits.
Welcome back, everybody, to Ask the Agronomist, presented by the Andersons. And as always, joining us today is PhD agronomist Ben Pease. Our question today comes in from Joe Laughlin. What is the best fertilizers for promoting root growth?
Joel, great question, and one I really do like. We could spend an hour seminar going over fertilizers and root growth and how they interact, but I think the main one to think about, of course, is fertilizers with phosphorus. So the middle number, the zero phosphorus fertilizers have been popular due to some phosphorus bans, but that doesn't mean you still can't put them out. So phosphorus is important to work in your fertility program to promote root growth. It's something that we think about as promoting root growth, but every study that we've seen that we've done at the Andersons with our phosphorus containing fertilizers, we get more extensive root systems when we use a complete fertilizer that has nitrogen and potassium, but also phosphorus. Think of something like an 18-3-10 instead of just an 18-0-10. There's going to be a big difference even with just that small bit of phosphorus. And we put these into a lot of our blends on purpose. The 14-7-14, 18-9-18 come to mind because there's a really good ratio there. 4-1-2 or 2-1-2, something like that, is great to use because then you're feeding the plant with nitrogen, but you're also getting the plant more phosphorus to develop a better root system.
So Ben, what about timing? Like, are we always trying to feed the roots, or is that something you want to switch up throughout the year?
So we don't have to put down phosphorus with every application. In fact, in some areas of the country you can't. So um, we do tend to see really good root growth in the spring months of the year, and to a lesser extent the fall months. So if we can help promote it during other times of year, summer especially, put a little bit of phosphorus down just to make sure you can, push those roots to go deeper a little bit. Um, that's a good timing. Fall's a good timing as well. But knowing that in spring they're already going to grow a lot just by the nature of turf grass growth cycles, it might not be as important. But of course, anytime you're going to do any establishment or renovation, we're going to want to use starter fertilizer. Of course, is heavy on phosphorus, and we know that's a big thing of developing those new roots for the new seedlings. Another thing that we can think about to promote root growth is using fertilizers that have a humic component to them. So we've got these in the form of liquid products. We've got them in a lot of our granular products as well. But yeah, any fertilizer that incorporates humic is going to promote root development. So we've done a lot of research over the years, and we've always seen increased rooting with a humic application. This is the real effect is when you look at the root branching and the number of root hairs. That's where we get a lot of the soil and phosphorus interactions. So knowing that our humic products increase root branching and the amount of root hairs has a big effect on root growth. So humics help acidify the rhizosphere, so then you can actually get more phosphorus into the plant and increase phosphorus use efficiency a lot too. And if you think if you drive these root systems to produce more branching and more root hairs, you're going to have better establishment as well too, not just regular turf maintenance, but if you're doing an establishment, you really want those new seedlings to develop as extensive of a root system as possible, as soon as possible. So that's another great placement for, a fertilizer with phosphorus, but also a fertilizer with humic.
So Ben, when it comes to the Anderson's product specifically, is there something that you guys would recommend for root growth?
Well, anything with humics, of course, is great. So um, we've got a whole humic line, and what comes to mind first, of course, is HCU. That's our humic coated urea. We've also got a humic coated ammonium sulfate. If you want humic just by itself, like you've already got a fertilizer that you're going to apply, but you want to incorporate a humic application on top of that, there's humic DG, which is just a humic carrier in a dispersible granule form. So there's that one. But, if you spread or spray, you can go with humic coated ammonium sulfate. There's two versions of that for each situation, or HCU can do both as well, depending on how you're going to do your fertility application and how you want to get those humics out to the turf to help promote some root growth or enhance establishment, things of that nature.
Fantastic. You're always nailing it, Ben. Got all
Uh,
the answers. I love it.
I like that the listeners have all the questions too. It keeps us it's a happy relationship there.
Absolutely. Yeah. It seems like there's lots of questions. And if you listening out there, if you have one, don't be afraid to send it in. You can ask it anonymously or you can put your name on it and we'll try and get it answered for you. So thank you so much to Dr. Ben for joining us today. This has been another Ask the Agronomist question presented by the Andersons.
We now join our program in progress.
Apparently that's going through my phone now.
Oh, wow. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great.
So
So I
what,
know what I'm doing.
you just stepped on the cord or something
I
snapped?
didn't know. I didn't do anything. I had to take everything apart because I had it set up from traveling. So I had my portable set up. So I just had to switch it all around and set it up to the home computer and everything. And the entire like insides of the microphone came out when I pulled the cord out. So
Oh,
whatever
geez.
connection piece on the inside just popped right out with everything else. So I think I got Seminole for some renovation video stuff.
There you go. That'll
Yeah,
be a
I'm
good
pretty
one.
pumped about that. Oh, dude, Seminole. It's been on my bucket list for a while to go see, so I'm excited.
Yeah. Are they doing a full reno, like ripping it up and everything?
Yeah, what he called it a sympathetic restoration, going back to 1923 Donald Ross.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm pretty pumped about that.
Well, that'll
It
be a
was the
really good
first
one.
time like I've had to kind of interview for it. Like called me up. He's like, I've seen your work and all that, but I don't know anything about you. Like, tell me, just tell me about yourself. So it's
Hmm.
like, oh shit, I haven't had to do this in
Yeah,
years.
usually I'm the one asking this question.
I know. Like, I haven't had to give my story in a while.
Well,
No,
that's a good one, man. Good for you.
just to be a part of it, just
Hmm.
because Seminoles got such a great tradition and history down there, and they've got that pro member event that they do every year, which is nuts, where all the tour players partner up with one of their members, and
Could you imagine like
it's
having
like
that much exclusivity?
it's crazy. Like that field for that event, it would probably be in the top 10 fields on tour. Like it's the who's who. It's
Hmm.
crazy. Uh,
There we
hey,
go.
What's going on?
How's it going?
had to go outside to get service.
I'm sitting in my truck.
Nice. Live from the turf parking lot. I love it.
My my iPad is
Oh,
connected to my hotspot on my phone. So
So we'll see how well we do here.
how you boys doing?
Things are good.
we're good, man. How are you?
Tired. It's been a long week so far.
Yeah, I was gonna say you. What time did you get back to the hotel?
Yesterday, I think we got back probably about 8:30, 9 o'clock. So it was and then today it's probably gonna be a little later.
Oh boy.
Wow. So you're down at Sawgrass right now. Did you start earlier in the week or were you there last week?
I came down last Saturday. We had orientation last Saturday, and then I'll be here through Sunday.
Nice. So they keep you there on site the whole day then?
I got lucky this year and I was able to drive to the course. Normally they have shuttles that we take, but we have so many volunteers that Lucas texted me and asked if I would drive. So we're able to go back to the hotel if we want, but most days, a lot of people are staying, go watch golf, kind of relax in the volunteers tent.
So you're a superintendent. You get brought in to volunteer at the at TPC Sawgrass. What job do they have you doing?
So I am walking on approaches on the back nine in the mornings, and then in the afternoons, I am filling divots.
Okay, keeping you busy.
Oh, for sure.
How many years in a row is this now for you, Danny?
This is my third players.
So this is your third players, and then how many you've done East Lake? How many times, Jeremiah?
Only done it once.
Oh, really? I thought you did East Lake a couple years in a row.
No, I only did it that 1 year. I've been meaning to go back, but I just haven't had the opportunity to.
Oh man, yeah, you definitely have to go back and see the new golf course. It's pretty fantastic, man.
Yeah, I've heard great things about, how it looks now compared to what it looked like before.
It's really good. So talk about what are some of the things that you pick up and that you learn when you're out there volunteering?
There's a lot. I mean, you see how big of an operation that they have going on here. And then it's amazing to be a part of it for the week. And then just how, vast TPC Sawgrass is in itself, not just from an agronomy standpoint, but from a property standpoint. But as far as agronomy, I mean, being here with Jeff and Lucas, and then also Patrick, it's phenomenal. So I'm happy to be here for, another year and then looking forward to many more years coming back.
Well, what about the networking side of it? Have you met a lot of different people over the years volunteering?
For sure. And it's funny because I've had multiple people actually come up to me saying that they either follow me on LinkedIn or Twitter, and I see some familiar faces from previous tournaments. So it's fun seeing familiar faces, and then meeting so they have 4 different schools here this year. Talking with the students, mainly the Penn State guys I've been talking to this year, kind of giving them some advice, and then them asking me questions, asking them questions. So it's really fun.
So you mentioned social media and how they're kind of, you're getting people coming up to you. You use it really well. Talk about your use of social media. Is there any strategy to it, or is it just something you just like to jump on and mess around with?
I'd say compared to when I first started, I've kind of developed a strategy to where I'm not just posting randomly. Most days it's, course pictures, if we're spraying, I'll take a picture of the sprayer or a video of the sprayer, talk about what we're spraying, some of our agronomic practices. And then, if I'm not posting pictures, just posting different questions, looking for answers or just picking people's brain about certain stuff. So I've had a lot of use and benefit out of social media. And I'm honestly really glad that I dove into that as well as I did. It's definitely paid off for me.
Do you think that's something that continues to grow and social media just continues to take over?
For sure, for sure. Especially with, like I said, the students, a lot of them, which is funny. I was talking to a few of the Penn State guys, and once I actually, got into conversation with them, they were like, when they saw me sitting at the table when they walked in, they're like, "Oh, that's the guy from Twitter or whatever." And it's good to be recognized, but it's also good that people from not even just in the States, but the UK are coming up to me and recognizing stuff I've posted or recognizing my face. So it's really good to be on social media, and that's what I'm trying to push towards, just really get the edge of it in the right way, because it can be a double-edged sword. But I'm a huge fan of social media when it's being used in the right way, for sure.
So how many autographs have you signed then this week?
None yet. Nobody's asked for an autograph, but I'm sure it'll get there soon.
Oh yeah, that's coming.
So talk about some of the benefits, some of the things that have come from your use of social media, aside from being recognized worldwide.
A lot of mostly agronomy ideas. I see a lot of stuff that I thought I might have known, but then you can take a scroll through LinkedIn or Twitter and you see somebody that may be going through the same problem, and they, post their solution or what has worked for them or things that they're trying. And it's always like, I didn't think of that. Let me try that, see if I get the same results. And then just documenting the results and documenting the progress of the course. So, that's mainly what I look for, because, being in Florida, the social media world and the golf market in Florida is vast. A lot of the superintendents down here, which is, you say that for everywhere, deal with the same problems. And you may not always have the same idea or solution as somebody else who's dealt with the problems, years before and know how to prevent it and also cure it, whether it's fungicides or insects or whatever the case may be.
Well, Jeremiah, I'd ask you, Brian was just mentioning you are very good on social media and you spend a lot of time on it. Have you seen any negatives to that side of things with the turf industry?
Kinda, sorta. I feel like, some people may abuse it to the point where they may post a little too much of, that's their agronomic program, more than I would necessarily post. But I can't speak for everybody who posts on social media. But I wouldn't say there's too many negatives. To me, I try to see more positive than the negatives. So I guess I don't really see a lot of the negatives that could potentially be out there.
So let's take a step back, Jeremiah. Let's tell the folks who you are. Give us the little your elevator pitch of who Jeremiah Mincey is.
So yeah, my name is Jeremiah. I am 27, actually about to be 28 this year. I've been working on a golf course for coming up on 8 years now. Started at the Georgia Southern University golf course, college golf course. That's where I went to school. I'm actually working for Patrick Reinhardt, who is the stadium course superintendent here at Sawgrass. And then it just skyrocketed from there. Once I really decided that this is what I wanted to do, I dove in head first. It was internships, looking for internships, talking to different people about how to navigate the industry, especially kind of getting into it a little later than most people. But once you get the basics, it's pretty easy to navigate. And then from there, I did an internship at Atlanta Athletic Club, and I was fortunate to be there during the 2021 KPMG, and that really sparked my interest and my love for tournament golf. So that's pretty much all I crave is tournament golf. So, and now I'm a golf course superintendent at a pretty young age, and it's just, I'm trying to get better and better every day, every year, reach for the stars.
So you're now currently working, you grew up in Georgia, you're currently working in Florida. What was that transition like?
Very different. mainly because of the growing season. So, like for example, right now where Georgia is dormant and there's not a lot going on, this time of the year is golfing season for Florida, and a lot of Florida courses aren't even dormant. So that was one thing that I had to adjust and get used to is seeing a lot of golfers on the golf course in January, February, March, whereas in Georgia the golf course is barely anybody there. So that was the main transition. So you get your feet under you, it's pretty easy to deal with, and build your agronomic program off of that.
Well, be careful. Don't say it's easy too many times. You don't
Yeah,
want to get members the wrong idea, think anyone can do this. But you mentioned being a young superintendent. Obviously, you're leading a fairly decent sized team down there at Black Diamond Ranch. Talk about some of the challenges of being, a younger guy leading, working with and leading, some older crew members.
So you tend to have to really put your foot down and demand respect from the seasoned veterans, because they just see you and see how young you are and not the position you have. And that's not for everybody. I can't speak for every seasoned veteran on a golf course, but from my experience, it's like, you have to be stern and firm with the guys, and really tell them like, hey, this is how it's going to be. But for the most part, I've had a great experience being a young superintendent. Although people have guessed that I'm in my late 30s, early 40s, and they're pretty surprised when I tell them no, I'm only 27. So, but I mean, it's great, and I'm glad I get to experience this. At such a young age, it helps me really mature, not only in the industry but as a man. So I'm really happy to be in the position I am at my age.
Turf Today is also brought to you by Flash Weather AI. And if you haven't gone to our link in bio on Instagram to get the free trial of this platform, you guys definitely need to check it out. These guys have amazing weather updates on this app, and one of the best parts about it is the lightning strike detection. They can detect lightning from miles or kilometers away, depending on where you are. Go to our link tree and our link in bio on Instagram at Turf Today, and you guys will be able to get a free trial from Flash Weather AI. Well, Jeremiah, talk about the process of getting your first superintendent's job.
So it was actually out of the blue. I was working at Savannah Quarters, and I had made a post, oddly enough, on social media, and a sales rep reached out to me. We were talking, having conversation, and he had asked me how long I had been an assistant for, and I told him, and he was like, you seem like you're ready to be a superintendent. And then he asked me, have I ever heard of Cabot? And I was like, yeah, kind of, Cabot, Nova Scotia, and all that. And so I had no idea about Cabot Citrus Farms down here in Brooksville. And so he gave the director my number. The director reached out. We set up an interview. And then after that, I was like, am I truly ready to be a superintendent? I asked that question to myself probably about 50 times. And the answer was no each time. And then I got to the point where I was almost like, well, you really don't know until you dive in. And so I had a long talk with my fiance about it. And I told her, I was like, I think I'm going to do it. And so once I made that decision, I interviewed with the director at Cabot, and I ended up getting the job. So it was a culture shock for sure, going into a big operation like that. But it's nothing that I feel like I was very prepared for. I was able to go in, learn the course, learn the guys, and then I hit the ground running once I got comfortable.
What were some of those bumps in the roads or challenges that you faced when first got into that big role?
The biggest one I'd say was when the reins are completely given to you. The director there, he was basically like, this is your operation. You do what you see fit. And up until that point, I had never developed an agronomic plan or developed a fertilizer package. So it was like, okay, where do I start? And so then I sat down. Luckily enough, all of my notes, I always write everything down. So I went through my notes, pulled a halfway decent agronomic program, and then it was more so trial and error because what may work at one course won't work at another. So it's really just experimenting with different products, different cultural practices, and then adjusting based off of the results you may see or the results you want. And so really once I had the baseline, it was easy to pick and choose what I wanted to do, timing of everything. And then it was also great to still have, the director to lean on and ask questions. But for the most part, it was like, okay, I'm 27 years old and this operation has been thrown into my lap. Now it's time to pull yourself up by your bootstraps and get going. So that was pretty much what I did. And then, like I said, once I got comfortable and developed, my version of an agronomic program, I'd say we did pretty good for the time I was there.
Right on. So what led you from Citrus Farms out to Black Diamond Ranch?
So unfortunately, I was fired back in October of last year. Which is funny. One of the Penn State guys asked me about it. He was like, "So what did you learn from being fired?" And my answer to that question was, you learn how much you love the industry. You learn a lot about yourself and your willingness to bounce back from it because nobody likes being fired. Especially I had just got that position and I felt like I was getting comfortable and really hitting my stride. So when something like that happens out of the blue, it really catches you off guard and makes you think about how much you love the industry. Do you really love what you're doing? And you learn about yourself not only as a superintendent but as a man. And it took about a little over a month to come to terms with, okay, I can't sit here forever. It's time to get going and bounce back from it. And that's ultimately what I did. And I'm grateful for the opportunity at Black Diamond. Happy it came my way. So there's a really bright future at Black Diamond, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
Absolutely. I visited you down at Black Diamond, and you guys have some really good things going. But since you kind of brought it up, what's you get the unfortunate news. What's kind of going through your head? What are the first steps when you kind of get that news and you're thinking about the future? Where do you go from there?
So for me, it was just trying to wrap my head around what went wrong. There was 1,000 different things that I was thinking about. Did I not do this? Did I not do that? Just trying to figure out what could have been better. And then you ultimately have to, realize that you did the best you could. It was an unfortunate situation and that sometimes things happen that are out of your control. And so that's the mindset I had. And then after I, kind of got over the hump, I knew, okay, it's time to get back up and really get after it. And so that's helped me, be a better person in my role now, just making sure I'm checking all the boxes, checking all the details. Even though it happened, to me, it was a blessing in disguise. And I'm glad that I was able to get a positive from such a negative situation.
Well, that's what they call a winning attitude. You have a very positive mindset, and I think you're going to do great things. So I'd love to ask you about your new course. What are you doing to instill that culture in, in your staff and everything around the golf course?
Really, you have to say it multiple times. They may hear you the first time, but they may not do it. And so it's really just making sure, following up with the guys. And, I didn't want to come in guns blazing because that's exactly how you start off on the wrong foot. So just getting to learn the guys, learn the culture that they had previously, tell them about me and my culture and my mindset, and having them buy into what I'm thinking and I like to accomplish. So far, I think it's working perfectly. The crew is really buying in. We're hitting our stride. Getting really ready for warm weather, growing grass. So I think once we get through at least one growing season, the course will look really great.
So what do you guys have coming up? Do you shut down at all for summer cultural practices, or what's the upcoming season look like for you?
So how we do it, being that the course is, pretty empty for the summer. So we'll close my front nine for a week. and then my back nine for a week. And then we'll do the same with the Corey course. We'll close their front nine for a week, and then their back nine for a week. And then the Highlands, which is the nine hole course, we'll close them for a week. And then we'll just alternate like that throughout the summer.
How big of a staff do you guys have down there working on all those holes?
I'll say this: we are very understaffed, which I'm sure a lot of superintendents can relate to that.
Mhm.
So right now, I think total we probably have close to 30 guys for 49 holes. But slowly but surely, we're hiring more guys and we're able to get a lot more stuff done throughout the day. So it looks really bright. We get a couple more guys in. Ideally we like to be 12 to 15 guys per course, and then that'll really have us looking good. But we're working with what we got. I do a lot of uh it's funny because a couple weeks ago on a Saturday, I was hand raking bunkers and checking greens and rolling greens, so which I enjoy that kind of stuff. So sometimes I may not feel like a superintendent. I like to get down in the dirt with the guys, but I enjoy every second of it.
So with that number of people for that many holes, I mean, how do you guys accomplish everything that you need to? I mean, is it tough to focus on the details? Is it, like mow and go type stuff? Because you're also a pretty busy golf course. How do you guys prioritize? How do you get everything done with, I guess somewhat of a limited staff?
Being very planned out. And some days you're coming in early, or staying a little later. That's the main thing, and that's really something I pride myself on as being a very planned out person. For example, a couple weeks ago, me and my spray tech came in at 4 a.m. to verticut, mow, top dress, and then also spray greens, which you feel a huge sense of accomplishment when you get through a day like that. Even though you're tired, you knocked out a lot of stuff. So that's the main thing I say. That's how we get through it, being very planned out, communicating with each other about what events we may have going on. That way we can plan our cultural practices and sprays around that. So that's the main thing, is planning and communication.
So Brian mentioned earlier, you're one of the younger superintendents in the nation, and it's obviously something that you can definitely hang your hat on. But you're always going to keep working hard. And I want to know about the people coming up behind you. Are you training assistants? Are you bringing in any interns or anything like that? Are you really trying to help sort of that next generation, even though you are a younger guy, but sort of that the people coming up behind you?
So right now, which fortunately have two guys, my spray tech and one of the crew guys, who want to move up in the industry. So I've kind of took both of them under my wing and kind of told them my path, how I navigated it, and then things that they could try, courses to look at, internships, and then basically tell them, like, ask questions until it's obnoxious, because that's what I did. So that's what I'm doing, and I feel like those two guys specifically have a bright future ahead of themselves. They really want to dive into this. So I've just been reaching out to different directors and superintendents and that are hosting tournaments, trying to get him on some volunteer lists and doing some internships at some high level place and get that experience to know what it's like to be on this side of it.
A-Plus rewards are back. The Andersons A-Plus rewards program offers turf managers the best opportunity to save on our newest and most popular products this fall. Earn rewards on purchases of Contec DG, Voltec SG, Castaway DG, Carbon Coat, and more. Don't miss this opportunity. The average reward for last year's program, more than $250. For a complete list of qualifying products, visit andersonspro.com. Offer available to U.S. customers only.
We've asked this to a couple guys the last couple interviews, but when you're looking to advance, so you're looking to move up, how much do you feel is it on the superintendent versus you as an individual really give someone the tools, answer or ask the questions? Is it more on the individual or is it on the person doing the training?
I'd say both, because the person doing the training can help the individual set themselves up for success, but also the individual has to have the drive and the willingness to listen and learn and basically be a sponge and absorb all the information that the person training them is throwing at them. Because a lot of times it is a lot of information, and you may have to tell them, like, hey, slow down, let me digest this and then we can move on. But I think also the person training has to be willing to, divulge that information and how they went about or how they, got where they are and things that made their journey not necessarily easier, but help them navigate the industry the way they navigated it. Because at the end of the day, nobody path is the same. So if I'm training somebody and I tell them my path, they may want to follow a similar path, but do it just a little differently that's tailored to them instead of, following in my exact footsteps. But, to the point of me being a younger superintendent, I feel like I've had some great experience and that has put me in a position to be able to pass down that information and that knowledge and really help the guys who are wanting to get into it find their way and find their journey and find themselves in this.
Absolutely. So, who would be some of your mentors and some of the people that you've learned from over the years?
I would say so. I credit me getting into this to Patrick Reinhardt. I mean, back in college, of course, a college kid, you're hating every day, waking up at 6 a.m. Of course, a bunch of hungover college kids, you're not really seeing the bigger picture at that time. But I mean, man, the way he ran that property was phenomenal. And I credit a lot of the things I do right now to him. And also Lucas Harvey at Atlanta Athletic Club. He is a person that, he could give you one answer or you have one question, 10 different answers to that one question. People like that who are always willing to teach and also themselves learn from people they're interacting with. It just helps you grow and helps you know that this industry is great to be in.
So I want to make a couple observations here real quick, Jeremiah. I see you've got two pairs of sunglasses up there, and it looks like maybe even a Twisted Paul sticker in the back. So first, you've got two different types of shades of those sunglasses. Do you have different, they for different atmospheric conditions or light conditions out there or what? Give me the scoop.
So, which I actually have three.
Oh man.
So, which oddly enough,
Sunglasses connoisseur.
which oddly enough, I learned this little tip. So these lenses help you see hot spots way better. So when we're in the growing season and I'm hand watering, I'll pull out the orange lenses to help me see hot spots. But other than that, I'm rocking my dark lenses for everyday stuff. But yeah, I do have three pairs of sunglasses, and then I have three hats sitting up on the dash. So I say it's the ideal truck of a superintendent.
It's ready for anything.
It's a swagged out truck. I love it.
Always
awesome.
ready.
So, Jeremiah, on your questionnaire, you had the story about forgetting something on the green. You got to tell that one.
So I can't remember if it was a Saturday or a Sunday. I was actually watching them over parked up and I was leaving property. And so my buddy who's cutting cups, he calls me. He was like, "Did you forget something?" And I'm confused as to what he's talking about. And so I was like, "No." He goes, 14 green. It's funny because 14 green sits right next to the entrance to Georgia Southern Golf Course. I mean, that's the first green you see when you enter the property. And so I ride it past and I look at 14 green. Granted, that's a very, very heavy dew on the greens. Leaving is one side mode and one side not mode.
Oh,
Just dropped my head in my car. I was like, there's no way I actually did that. And it's funny because I don't know if Patrick knows this. I ended up not even going back to finish it up. And I was like, man, there's no way I actually did that. So that was my one, brain fart that I had early on.
I think that's a bit of a rite of passage, eh? Most guys, I think, have done that at some point.
I think a lot of people have done that.
Yeah, yeah. That's where the whole argument comes from. Do you start with the pass up the middle, or do you just start on the side? And I think I always just started on the side so that I made sure I got the whole green done.
Sometimes I get into the mindset where I'm moving too fast, and that's my biggest weakness. Is sometimes I zone out and I'm moving way too fast. And that one day it happened, and I just so happened to be mowing greens, and it got me.
Yeah, and if you're not doing a cleanup pass, you're not going to catch it. But you do a cleanup pass, and it's like, oh, I didn't cut over here. You kind of save yourself.
Exactly.
So how do you get yourself to slow down then?
Focus on not just running through the golf course during setup. How I look at it is I'm always the last person on the hole. And especially when, we're spraying greens, for example, I always move the flags for the sprayer. And that helps me slow down, look at the bunkers, look at the greens, look at the fairways, kind of look at all the details, specifically around the greens, and that's helped me slow down. But really it's just, try not to move too fast because I have a bad habit of, rushing, trying to catch up with the guys. And sometimes I can be a little talkative, so really I kind of just, stay to myself in the mornings, then I walk every green. So that's really helped me slow down is walking every green, TDR and checking moisture, seeing how the green's looking, how it's performing. And that's helped me slow down a ton.
Well, Jeremiah, we don't want to keep you all day. Obviously, you got to get back to work, and this is your episode. So if there's something you want to talk about or something you want to plug, you're more than welcome.
The only thing I'd really talk about is, for guys who are wanting to get into this industry, I'd say heavily volunteer. I can't, really put into words how much volunteering has helped me, with not only networking, but learning different things from an agronomic standpoint. So I'm a huge, huge fan of volunteering at different tournaments, whether it be PGA tournaments, LPGA, Corn Ferry. My biggest push is, and that's what I told, my two guys who want to get into this is, find a tournament, if I can, I'll bring you along with me, but really volunteer and learn as much as you can learn from these different properties, because these properties have a lot going on, every year for their tournament. So, volunteer, be a sponge, and just, shoot for the stars. That's pretty much, how I'll end it.
Love it.
Great stuff, man. Great stuff. Well, it's always good to see you. Again, we appreciate you taking some time to jump on and join us here in the midst of a busy week. So enjoy the rest of the players and look forward to catching up again soon here, buddy.
All right. You boys have a good one.
Awesome. Say hi to everybody for us down there, okay?
Sure will.
All right, man. We'll see you, Jeremiah.
That is going to do it for us today. Another awesome episode. We really appreciate Jeremiah and Trevor both stopping in. I know Trevor was kind of tight schedule. It was just we were able to get him on there after he got off the plane before he went to work. And Jeremiah was between shifts at the Sawgrass. So one thing I wanted to quickly talk about, and it has nothing to do with anything special or anything going on here. It's just something that I've picked up on a little bit. I had something happen last week where if I wasn't wearing the proper protective equipment, I would definitely have been going to the hospital. And it had nothing to do with what I was doing or equipment or anything like that. It was a mistake that somebody else made. And, we do individual tasks on the course, but we also work as a team. And, you got to make sure that everybody's being taken care of. Everybody's protected. And I hate that whole thing. Well, I don't want to wear a helmet because I'm too cool, or I don't want to wear this because I'm too cool, or it's too hot, or whatever. The smallest little thing can go wrong and you can get seriously injured. So take the time, especially the other thing too, if you're a worker on the golf course, your boss is liable. So if you decide to go out there without steel toes or without gloves or something like that, those people are liable for you and what's happening out there. So have some respect for your job, for the people you're working for, and for yourself. You want to be able to take care of yourself. We don't want anybody getting hurt or having to miss time or have something bad happen. It would just be terrible. So I've had injuries on the golf course. I've had things happen. We've had a lot of close calls. There's been times where things have happened and you're just like, man, that could have gone bad. But this was a time where somebody made a mistake. I was wearing the proper gear and fortunately I was okay. But we both looked at each other and said kind of like we both got lucky because of what I was wearing. And I don't want to get into it, what actually happened or who was involved, but it's just reminded me to tell you guys and remind you guys that stuff is so important. A quick decision here or there, just remember, no, go back and put it on. Go back and get it. Take the time. And another little thing, don't be underprepared. Being prepared at the golf course is huge. So coming to the course and having extra safety goggles, having extra clothes, having extra boots maybe. When you get a new pair of boots at the beginning of the season, throw your old ones in your locker, throw the old ones in your car. You never know when you're going to need something like that. It's always good to have extra things at the shop or in your cart or around, and that is a huge part of being prepared. Leaders out there, make sure everybody has what they need. If you're somebody that's just getting going or somebody that kind of takes care of themselves and their own thing, make sure you have everything that you need. That's not fair that you go out there and you don't have the proper gear or the right resources to get the job done. That's just my little 2 cents for this week. Make sure you guys are staying safe. I don't care how cool you think you are. It would not be that cool to be going to the hospital. Have a good week, everybody, and keep those reels sharp.